This
Hi all,
conference will now be recorded.
welcome to the session. Hope you all can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Hey, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so see here, yesterday we have finished off the select statements and we were discussing about the AOD queries. And while discussing the AOD queries, I told you that we will start writing the queries and I will show you how to work with the AOD queries on X++. Is that right? Okay. So see here, if you want to work with AOD queries, then we need to use something called query object model. Okay, if you want to work with AOT queries or XPP queries, for both of them, we need to use something called query object model. So what is this query object model and how does it work? The query object model will contain few key classes which are used to build a query. Okay, from that, if you see this diagram, you can see there are two key classes here. One is query run, second one is query. Query is used to tell what is a query. Query run is used to execute the query on the database and then fetch the data to dynamic CX. Okay, query build data source. Query build data source means if we want to add any data source to a query, we will use query build data source, and then it will go on to the nth level. Okay, field list, range, dynamic link, and then it will go on to the nth level. Okay, so now we are going to use this framework. How we are going to use it? Let me open the classes. I think yesterday we have created one class for AOD queries. Let me view code of it. And here, as I told you, the first one that we need to use is query. And then what we need to do? I am calling it as Q, but you can call whatever you want. And then you can say new. Inside the query, we need to provide the any type source. You can provide a table, you can provide a query, okay, you can provide a view, you can do that. I am using query str as I am going to run AOT query. What is my query name? ICI address query. And then the next step is query run. I'll call it as QR. And here I will say query run equal to new query run, and inside the brackets I want to run the query here, semicolon, done. And then we can say while of QR dot next. And then here I need to say I need to take the address table. Is that right? So let me call ICI address. Please remember, whenever you are working with a query, it is going to return the address buffer equal to. Here, to get it from the query run, you have two methods. One is get, and the second one is get env. Get env means you need to provide the data source number. Data source number in the sense, I have only one data source, I can give one. If there are, let's say, 10 data sources, then we need to remember the data source number of each of them, which is a bit difficult thing. So we will use get all the time. Okay. And if you have only one or two data sources, then you can go with get env. Please remember, table name inside this you can pass ICI address. Done. That's it. This is how we are going to write a query. Now I am adding a breakpoint here. I will run this and we will see how does the query get formed and everything. Okay, let's see that. Because I told you that even if you write AOT query or even if you write select statement, at the end it should convert into select statement. Okay, let's see whether that is true or not. Unfortunately, I have set sync to true. 1 second. Let me try to remove it now. I don't know whether it will take or not, but let me try. False apply. Okay. Is the sync started? Good. Sync is not started. If the sync is started now, it will take very long time. That's why I'm worried about it. Okay. Let's see. Because if it does not sync, it will go very fast. Okay. It's running still. Let it hit the breakpoint. Oh, don't know why it says session has ended. Okay, 1 second. Oh, it's other session. No worries. Okay, it has hit the breakpoint now. First of all, I am interested on this q variable. So what does it has? Let me check. Let me copy the value out of it, and then let me paste it on the OneNote. Let me add one more page. Paste. Can you say this? It has taken select the first field list from address table. This is what I said. Even if you write the select statement, or even if you write the XPP query, or even if you write the AOT query, at the end it will convert into simple select statement. Okay. Now I am using the query run. What does this query run.next does? It will simply go to the database and check if the data is available, and then it will pull the data. Now you can see address has the record. This is how we will work with the AOT queries. And now, in case of XPP queries, we saw about the find options. We saw a lot of things. Okay. Now let's see them. Now these are the fields available. The next thing is the range. Let me right click on the new range, and then let me go to the properties of it. I will take the field here. I will call the field as uh, let me take state, and then here you can see the value. I will say Telangana. Okay, I am saying that get the data from Telangana state. Okay, now see here what it will do. It will simply add the range to this, and you can see order by. If you want to use order by, you can use. Okay, or simply let me take the country so that we will get more data. Because Telangana I will get only one record. I will take it by country, and then I will call it as India. Okay, I have the order by here. Let me select the new field, go to properties, and you can select the field here. One second, data source here, ICI address, select the field here. I want to sort on the basis of city. Okay, and I want to sort on the descending order. Done. Let me save this. Okay, now I have added a range. I have added a order by clause. Okay, a order by clause. Now let me get back to the AOT queries again, and then I am not going to modify any piece of code here. Let me simply run it and see what it does, because I would like to check how it has added the ranges. Okay, now you can see here I'm going for the query, copy value, and if I paste it over here, you can see where country equal to India, order by descending. Okay, this is how the query is formed. Okay, now let me press F10 and you will get the data. Done. Okay, this is how we are going to work with the query. Okay, now what is the benefit of using this XPP query, and what does not, why what we does not have in select statement? Now let's say I have the query here. I want to add one more range. Let me try to do that. Okay, I'm not adding the data source yet. So what I will do is query dot, we will have data source number or data source table. Okay, you can take data source table and then you can provide the table name, and in the bracket you can say ICI address dot range in the bracket. Okay, it is asking for the range number, or data source dot add data source. If you want to add one more data source, you can do that. You can add a customer data source here directly. Range in the bracket, you need to provide the field number. You can say field name in the bracket ICI address, comma, what is the field name? Let me take city dot value. In the value, you can say the string value. I will say Hyderabad. Okay. Now let's see. Because I am not applying this range on the AOT query, I am applying this on the XPP query. I'm trying to manipulate the AOT query using the XPP query. Let's see whether it works or not, or whether it throws any error. This is also possible here. You know, this is the benefit of using AOT queries in the form. Okay, you know, this is the benefit. If you have a AOT query, you can modify it directly in the form at runtime. Okay, even if you have a table as well, you can modify. You can write the queries at runtime. Okay, the query that the form has, if you want to modify at runtime based on the conditions from the user, then we will use XPP queries. This is what I said. Okay, please remember. Okay. I am waiting for it to load here. It's not loaded. It says busy. Let's wait. Okay, now you can see here query. Let me take this query, copy the value and paste it over here. Now you'll see the difference. What it has done? In the where clause, it has added the country and city equal to Hyderabad. Now, if you want to add the join, you can add the join here as well. You can combine multiple data sources to this query here. Okay, we will see that anyways. Okay, because how to work with the XPP query and how to add more data sources, I will explain you when we go to XPP queries. Okay, now I will comment this piece of code and we will see a new AOT query with joins. Okay, now you know how to work with order by, how to work with the range, and how to add a new range dynamically, okay, to the existing AOT query. Now let's see how to work with the joins. I'm creating a new query. Click on the add button, new item, and then I want to go to data model and then a query. I want to call this as ICI cust, and then I want to take the savings account, card account, and the transactions. Okay, we are going to do the same thing here, and there are some additional benefits in the AOT query. We will see that. Cust save customer, savings account, card transactions. Click on the add button. Now the first thing that I need to do is I need to use the customer account. Go to the table and you can take the ICI customers, drag and drop to this one. And as I told you, you need to set the property, and in the properties you need to set dynamic to no. I will set yes, and then I will delete the fields. Click on the no button. Done. Okay, and then first you can set it to yes. Done. Okay, the next step is go to the fields, and I need only few fields. I don't want to have the address. What are the fields that I need? I need customer ID, and then I need name. Okay, sorry, remaining delete. Now you can see I am not going to apply the range. I want to add one more data source. See here, the data sources can be added in two fashions. I can add one more data source here. The second option is I can add one more data source here. What makes the difference? If I add one more data source here, it will make a child data source. Okay, this will be the child data source. Remember, you can see it has given embedded data source. And here I am going to add the savings account. You can add like this as well. Okay, you can add like this as well. You can take ICI savings account and then set dynamic to yes and then set it to no. Done. Now you can go to the fields. You can take, I'm taking only account number. That will be enough for me because I want to do the group by. Let's see. Now if I go to the properties of this, you can see there is a property called join mode. What is the join mode you want to use? Whether inner join, exist, outer. You can see all those here. Inner means inner join. Outer means left outer that we have seen on the select statements. Exist means it will check the existence of the record and then return back. No exist means not exist. Okay. No exist in AOT queries. Not exist in SPP queries. First. You can apply first. Use relations. I am setting here use relations to true. Use relations means I am asking to add the relation directly between customers and savings account. Okay. Now let me take one more data source here. Click on the new data source, and I want to call this as ICI card account. I want to call this as ICI card account. Dynamic fields to yes, and then set it to no. Select first to yes, and I'm using the same inner join here. And here I will add the relations, new relation. This is the second way. Okay, you can have the join data source. Join data source is ICI savings, and then you have the join relation name. If you have the relation, you can apply the relation, or if you don't want to apply the relation, you can select the field here. You can say account number, and in the related field, you can say account number. This is the another way. If you don't want to use the relation, you can do this. This is the another way. Okay. and I want to add the card transactions here. Go to properties and then table, select ICI card transactions here, and then set dynamic to yes and update it to no. And now in the fields I want to have uh, what is this, transaction amount and then card number. I am taking only two fields. Okay, and if you want to keep the account type, you can keep. If you want to get data on the base of account type, but anyways we are joining with the savings account, so account type is not needed. Click on delete. Done. Now I have the card number and transaction amount. Okay, and here if you want to use relations, I can set use relations to true, because you know how to apply the relation manually. Okay, done. Now I have applied it. Now let's see what does this query does. Okay, because we have added multiple now, I want to try to get data from all those. Okay, and we have applied the inner join across everything. Now in the main, first of all you need to take the query. Let me take query q equal to new query inside the bracket, query str inside the bracket, you can say ICI. Oh, what is this? My query is not coming. ICI cast save cart trans. Okay, this is my query. Okay, might be intelligence problem. So, and then I want to take query run qr equal to. Okay, I'm not doing anything here because first of all I need to get the query done. Or if you want to directly manipulate the query, then you can write qr equal to new query run in the bracket. You can say query. Okay, this is how you can do. Next, while in the bracket you can take qr dot next, and then here ICI savings account, or let's get from the customers, ICI customers, and then I can say customers equal to qr dot get in the bracket table name, and then you can take bracket ICI customers. I am getting the customers now. I got it. ICI. Let me take card account here. Card transactions. Okay. Card transactions. Card trans equal to qr dot get, and then you can say table name in the bracket ICI card transactions. Like this, you can get all the four tables here. If you want to get the account number, you can get the savings account. If you want to get the card account, you can get the card account. Okay. And then I will display info strfmt and then %1 hyphen %2 hyphen %2 comma customers dot name comma card trans dot transaction amount. Done. Okay, and done. This is how you can write the query. Okay, card trans dot transaction amount. Now let's see. I will add a breakpoint here and I will run this. We will see how the query is getting executed now. Okay, with joins. Okay, now you can see here query run, press F10. Now it's came inside. We got the customer's record, we got the card transactions, and it has printed Ramcharan 1000. And let me check what it is doing. Ramcharan 1500. These are all the transactions of Ramcharan. Okay, these are the individual transactions of Ramcharan. And then Shiv. So this is how we are going to work with. We'll be working with the data. Okay. Now let's say I want to get the customers whose amount is greater than 3000. Then I need to get only one customer. How to do that? How to do that? It's very simple. Okay, let's try that. Now see here, in the cust save card trans, previously we have added only inner joins and we have not applied any data. Is that right? Now I have two things here. One is group by and the second one is having. In the group by, I will add a new field. I will select the data source and let me select the data source as customers, and then I will select the field because we are going with the account now. So I will take customer ID, group by customer ID, and then I want to take the new field and I want to take the data source as customers and then the name. Why? Because if you want to display some multiple fields, let's say for example, you need to add all of them to group by, otherwise they will not get displayed. Please remember that. Okay. And one more important thing about having is now if I added the group by, then it indicates that I am going to have some aggregate here. You can see new. I'm going to take sum. What is this? If you have aggregated along with the regular fields, it's not allowing. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me delete them. Right click, delete, 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 and right click, delete, 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 and then new. I am taking the sum now. I will take the field as transaction amount, sum of transaction amount. Good. Right click, new. Now you can see. Once I added the aggregate function, it is allowing me to add only aggregate functions, nothing other than that. Please remember. Okay. In AOT query, once you add the aggregate function, it will only allow that aggregate functions. Okay. Now I want to get the sum of transaction amount and I want to get the customer ID and name both of them. So I have added both of them in the group by. Okay. Please remember that. The next thing is about the having. Now, whenever you have a group by and if you want to have a condition, on the data that you have on the group by, then you will use the having clause. In these havings, I can use card transactions and then I can select the type sum. It will give me the where clause where sum of transaction amount is greater than, let me take 3000. What's the value? 3000. This is how we can do. Now let me see how the query has been modified in this. I'm going to this XPP queries again and I'm running the piece of code. We will see how it has modified. Okay. Now let me press F10 and let me check the query here. Copy, 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 and let me paste it down here. Now you can see. Select first customer ID name from ICI customers, group by customer ID name, join first account number from savings account on customer ID on first account number and all this from card account on savings account dot account number equal to account number, join sum of transaction amount from card transactions on this one and account type equal to 0 and 0 equal to card transactions dot account type and having sum of transactions amount greater than 3000. Okay, this is how the query will be formed. Okay, if you want to use or if you want to create a query in a graphical fashion, then you need to go with the AOT queries. Okay, and I suggest and I prefer most of the times to go with the AOT queries, frankly speaking. Okay, we got Ram Charan 14,100. Okay, because there is one specific reason for that. It will be more user friendly and you can modify whenever you need. Okay, because if you write the select statements, there are some restrictions. Yeah, if you are using the select statements, you should not write them on the client side. The queries should be wrote on the server side. Whereas if you write the AOT queries, even if you write on the client side, it will not throw any errors. Please remember, AOT queries are intended to use in the forms. Whereas most of the times I saw the people writing the select statements on the forms, but select statements should be written on tables or classes wherever possible, but not on the forms directly. If you are selecting more amount of data on the form, the client server interaction will be more and obviously it will take more amount of time. Okay, so we need to remember all these points. And one more thing is that I found the user saying Dynamics AX is very slow, very slow. At the initial level Dynamics AX will be slow because I will tell you the exact reason. What will happen is now I am opening the client. Let's say first time if I open the sales order form, it will take around 2 or 3 minutes. Whereas if you open the same sales order screen for the second time, then it will take less time. Okay, and one more thing. Even if you restart the system as well, it will take less time. But comparatively, it will take longer because I will tell you what happens. Whenever you are opening the client and if you are trying to pull some data, the data will be cached on the client. Some of the data, not the whole data. So what will happen is when you are opening the sales order form for the first time, it will go and hit the AOS service. AOS service will hit the database. From database, it will pull the data to AOS service. From AOS service, it will pull data to the client. So all these interactions should happen. So when the user is trying to access something for the first time, okay, you need to let him know that it will take some time because the data should be cached. Once the data is cached, automatically it will be faster. Okay, the problem is not with the Dynamics AX. Okay, the Dynamics AX is going to run perfectly, whereas these interactions are the problem. So what we need to do is if you want to get any data, we need to try to add it only at the server level. Whenever you want to pull something from the database, that interaction should be added at the server level, not at the client level. Okay, please remember. And if you're doing something at the client level, obviously you need to use AOT queries, okay, or XPP. Don't go with the select statements unless and until it is mandatory. Okay, now this is all about the AOT queries. Please let me know if you have any queries.
Yeah, I have one. What are the derived table objects properties there and ranges in data source there?
One
Yeah, and
second.
also there is one fetch mode 1 to 1.
That is similar to cardinality, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess the same. So okay.
Okay. The next one is you are saying about this one. 1 second. I think that will be
You
at
can
the
come in
same
range.
level. Okay.
Okay.
You are saying about this derived table property,
Yes.
what does it have? The derived table is used if you have any derived table specific to that one. Okay. And frankly speaking, this derived table property, we are going to use it in a I can say rare case. But what that
Okay.
will do is, let's say for example, if you have any derived table, and if you want to get the field from that particular derived table, okay, then you are going to use this derived table property, and then you will add it. You will add the particular field of the derived table here, okay. But
Okay.
in this case, it's not available.
Okay. There is one more question. We have set use relation in true.
Yes.
As we already have a relation with card account and card transaction, so do we need
Hmm.
to have same relation make here? It will
Not
not
needed.
take that
That's what I
relation.
said. If you want
Yeah.
to use set use relations to yes, you can do that. If you don't want to use relations, then you need to add the relation. Because sometimes what will happen is there will be two tables. You will try to join them, but at the table level there will be no relation. But if you come to the matter of data, there might be a relation. So we can use the data and then we can create a relation here. If you want to do in that form, then we will use these relations.
Okay. And if there is a relation already exists at the table level, then we don't need to do this. We don't need to select this.
Not needed. Not needed.
Okay.
At the
It will
table
take
level, if you have it,
automatic.
you can set use relations to true. You need to set use
Okay.
relations to true. Yes, then it will
Okay.
take automatically. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, any other queries? Okay. If there are no other queries, I will end session here, and we will start with the XPP queries tomorrow. Okay. Because now already you know I want you to practice here, because I'm going with a lot of things, but I don't know how your practice is going on. Please practice. Frankly speaking, otherwise you will forget very, very easily. Got it? You are
Yeah.
going to forget very, very easily. Please remember. So please practice. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks.